I'm Cass.
I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the Appliance Girls. But I think I'm really excited to, get women on the podcast.
I mean, we love men too.
If you had a superpower, any
Oh,
superpower,
gosh. Not this one.
any superpower, what would it be?
If you don't believe in what you're selling or you don't believe in the business, you're not going to be able to sell it.
I thought you were talking about something else. Good morning, Cassandra.
Good morning, Rachel.
Welcome back. It's been a few months since we've done a recording.
It's been a very long time.
It has. You went on a trip to Europe without me. You didn't pack
Sorry,
me in
I
a
left
suitcase.
you.
But that's all right. It's very exciting today. We have another guest on, and I'm actually a bit excited for this one.
Yeah, it's totally different to what we normally talk about, which is exciting.
Yeah.
I love it.
We have Kate Harrington. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And this introduction, Kate is the first female team manager in Supercars Championship history. That's a pretty good blurb to have on your underneath your name. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably don't really think of it like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. Especially, I've got an amazing crew, but, it's something, it's cool to be the first one to do it.
Yeah.
Because, we're very big on, a lot of our podcast is about speaking to women that are working in male-dominated industries, and that's definitely a very male-dominated industry. So I'm sure we're going to talk about today how you feel in that position. But it's interesting to see and hear your journey of how you got there and what it's like, and learning a little bit more about the V8 supercar industry.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it because, when we're growing up, it's like I've never really been into racing or driving, and I think maybe that's something because maybe my dad wasn't into any of that. And it's like, where do you kind of start in that? Is it from a young age? Is it from older? And then sometimes, sometimes you're driving and you picture yourself and you're like, oh, I'd be really good as a race car driver. But then actually, in real fact, you're not. So let's go from the very beginning and see how you kind of wanted to get into
so take
the
us back.
industry.
Where'd your motorsport journey
begin?
I guess, to be honest with you, I grew up riding dirt bikes. So I guess I always had that sort of adrenaline factor and was surrounded by, the male-dominated sort of thing.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
My mother wasn't, that keen on me continuing doing it. Broke a lot of bones. But motorsport wasn't like the car side, four wheels. It never really was on my radar because I was two wheels, dirt bikes. That was it. And then I went to university to study law and aviation of all things.
Wow.
And in my summer holidays, I actually went to a motorsport park that had just opened in Cromwell in New Zealand, Highlands, and that's where it started. Yeah. So my first weekend, I kind of got chucked in the deep end. It was an event. It was GT racing. They'd come over from Australia, and it was like full on. It was the Thursday of the event. Everyone was there. There was internationals. It was, I got chucked straight in the deep end.
Yep.
And then from that point on, I guess maybe I just worked hard that weekend and people noticed. But I had the owner of the motorsport park kind of took me under his wing. So, I was lucky in that aspect. You can be lucky or you can work hard.
Yeah.
And that's your luck. But, that's, I guess, kind of how I got into it. And then I still stayed studying, and TQ asked me, did I want to come across and, do some stuff over here in Australia and GT stuff. And then I, kind of did that. He also opened a game over in Queenstown at the I think it must have been a year into working with him at Highlands.
Yep.
And then, so I did that with him as well and the team there at Highlands. And then, I came to Australia and I haven't kind of looked back since, I guess. Yeah.
So what sort of things were you doing?
When I first started, it was a lot more sort of reception stuff. Well, it lasted a day, to be honest. When the event was everything, so it was running from, it was a lot of media stuff. So running from the reception desk up the top down to where the drivers are to the podium ceremonies. Look, I guess I looked like a little bit of a good girl back then. So, so I did a little bit of podium stuff with them and helped, and wherever they needed me was pretty much what I did. I didn't really want to do the podium stuff, but it was kind of chucked to me at the last minute.
Yeah.
And then once we finished the first race weekend, I got straight away it was Christmas, and we do like hot laps there, so you can go and get a ride with the owner or the professional driver. And so you have to strap everyone in. And I just did that flat chat. We would go through like 300 people a day, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just in and out of cars, just suiting them up and putting them in cars and strapping them in. And then I did a little bit of operational stuff. I did go-kart stuff down the bottom. It was sort of, there wasn't really, I was just a yes person. I would do whatever needed to be done. Help in the CAF when it was a bit quiet if they were under the pump down there. Just kind of, wherever they needed me,
everything
I
and
guess.
anything.
Yeah, and I love that you said, like, it is a little bit of luck, but it's also working hard and someone noticing that you're actually pushing yourself and doing everything that they give you, and that's how you're going to get noticed. It's not just luck, this person's great. It's like you need to prove yourself and show that you're doing the work as well, which is important to show.
Yeah. But then once again, it's another situation where you didn't set out to go, I'm going to go there today. This is what I'm going to do. Like, it sort of not fell in your lap, but it just came about in the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess when you got to Sydney, because you're away from your family, I'm assuming your family's still in New Zealand?
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
How did you handle that kind of moving somewhere, which is totally different? It's not the same in the slightest. Moving to a different country, not knowing really anyone, not having family here.
It was really tough at the start. To be honest, I really hated it. I wanted to move home within the first 3 weeks, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because did you move straight to
Melbourne?
Yeah.
And then Mum was like, no, just stick it out, stay there, it'll be worth it. And anyway, I did. And it ended up being probably the best thing I've ever done. Yeah. And then once you start working and traveling, you get to know the paddock and who's in it and the people, and it's like a family.
Yeah.
Like your team's a family, but also everyone in the paddock's a family, if that makes sense. So, like I actually knew a couple of the guys from when I was at Highlands for that weekend when they came to race there.
Yeah.
So when I came over, one of the current supercar drivers, he was my first friend in Melbourne. So it was actually really cool to I knew him, and then his family was really good to me, and there was just one person was just nice to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not as far. It's a 3-hour flight into Queenstown, so
Exactly.
it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But it was definitely very different to sort of what I set out to do and where I planned to go. I didn't plan to sort of come to Australia and live there for.
Did you end up finishing your studies?
I didn't. I did aviation.
Yeah.
I didn't finish law.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how different,
I know.
like, what you studied is to what you turned out doing. It's so funny when you look at the contrast of what people go to study and then what they ended up doing. I guess if you look back, back then, what kind of job did you want to do? Like,
I wanted to be an air traffic controller.
okay.
Originally, when I first started uni, I wanted to do criminal law.
Oh, that would be
And
interesting.
That would have been hard,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
because I am a people person
Yeah.
and I'd probably get too invested in emotions or something.
Yeah.
But and I did enjoy it. It was really good. Like, I do like the law side of things, and it probably taught me a lot as well. But the aviation thing, it's sort of similar to what we're doing now. It's a high pressure environment, aviation, like
for
air
sure.
traffic control. Like, you can't make a mistake.
One wrong move.
It's probably
is
worse than what I'm doing now, to be honest. But like, as in pressure. But yeah, it was just, my dad was a pilot. Like, he was a helicopter pilot just in his spare time.
Yeah.
Back home. So I was very lucky to grow up around sort of him flying all the time and getting his license, and I'd go flying with him all the time. So I grew up a little bit around that, and then it was just aviation's always been an interest to me, and I guess I caught the bug for motorsport. So now that's it's like a drug. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah. Would you ever go back to aviation?
I think about it sometimes. I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do necessarily like a 9-to-5 job, because from what we do right now, it's like the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. There's a lot of pressure. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but you are constantly, you've got to be better every event and every round. So, and I think air traffic control is like, it's so high pressure as well. The stakes are so high.
Yeah.
So it's definitely still of interest to me, but I'm not ready to give up what I'm doing yet.
Yeah. Now, you talk about the motorsport, but like the hype around it.
being a drug.
Describe that to someone, because Cass isn't necessarily a motorsport fan. Describe it to Cass of how does that feel? Like, how does it make you feel when?
I just love it. When you get in there, like, it's not tunnel vision, but it's like nothing else is around you. Like when you're going into like a qualifying session, for example. So a qualifying session is probably the most high pressure situation, apart from a race is high pressure, obviously, when you do pit stops and when you're racing, but it's a little bit less out of your control. It's more on the driver, whereas qualifying, it's on the driver, but then it has to come and you've got to change for tyres. You have to be like milliseconds. You've got to make the right decisions and the right calls. So it's like, I love pressure. So for me, it's like nothing else matters. I'm just like high on that, that adrenaline of, right, we've got to do this, this, and this, and this. Yeah. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, how did I do that? Or like, what did I,
It's like you blacked out.
It's like I blacked out. But I don't know how to describe it necessarily. It's just, it's such a unique feeling. I think you have to experience it yourself to, you need to come to an event.
I know.
You'll get straight into it. You can put a headset on and you'll be able to understand.
I think it'd be very different as someone just watching from the sideline to someone actually managing the team. And like for you, when it is race day and when you're there, do you feel like you're running around like a headless chook, or are you pretty like calm and neutral about everything?
I think I feel like I'm like a headless chook. But the team and I've had this from my team as well, our team feed off me. Yeah. So I can't really be stressed. Yes. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I stress at the workshop and when we've got things going wrong and whatever else.
Yeah.
But I try not to put that or show that onto the crew, because as soon as they see me stressed or they feel that, then they feel that, and then they're more prone to making errors as well as myself. I'm probably, when it happens in like a race or qualifying, I speak to the crew and I communicate to our crew. And when our drivers come in the lane, I communicate to them as well. So I have to have a really calm sort of like I am now.
Yeah.
You go into a sort of a different mode, and you just got to be calm on the radio to them, to the crew and the drivers, so that they think nothing's going on. There could be so many fires out the back that's going on. But you just get someone else to deal with that and can you please go and sort that out. But I think our team is, everyone gets nervous and anxious and that, and I think that's normal. I think you have to have that sort of hunger and that little bit of, we're like on edge, like it's got to work.
Yeah.
In the industry, but I think our crew, and I would like to say myself definitely, with the more experience I've got, it's got a lot better at managing that.
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to ask, because as team manager, on a race day, are you looking after strategy? Like how does that work within your team?
So on a race day, I have 5 hats. No, we have an amazing crew. So everyone knows what to do. So usually the boys will come, but the cars will be on the grid, and then the crew will come back into the garage once everyone has to get off the grid within 5 minutes, so that the grid's clear and they can start the race. And our pit stop crew come back in, and I brief them. So I speak to our engineers first. We have a strategy brief meeting. We discuss what laps we're thinking of pitting on, how much fuel, tyres, all that sort of stuff. And sort of what sort of time pit stop we think we'll do with tyres and stuff. So that a lot of that comes down to how fast our pit stop crew are. Yeah. We are fastest in the lane at the moment. The finals are first. And then when our crew come back into the garage, I liaise that with them. So I'm the communicator for all points within the garage. So the crew are notified of what the plan is. The plan changes, obviously, and I will update them every sort of 5 laps of what the plan is, get them on standby for the pit stops. And then I stand in between our 2 race engineers. So I manage, I guess, the race engineers and sort of, I wouldn't necessarily say the strategy. They're pretty good at doing that themselves. That's their specialty. That's not my specialty. But it's more making sure that we're making the right decisions, or, what car's pitting first, because the lead car on track usually has priority over the car behind. So just making sure that everyone understands that, and that maximising our on-track position as much as we can.
There's so many different things going on. Like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, you just, it's a race. You just go out there and you race, off you go in the car. But like, as you're saying these things, there's so many different things you need to learn about and think about. I guess for you, how long was your journey to become team manager? Because did you kind of try every bit of the puzzle and work your way up, or was it just kind of one day you knew everything?
I wouldn't say I know everything, and I'm still learning on the job, and I hope I'm still learning till till the end of my career. I don't think you can ever stop learning. So
For sure.
I've had a lot of people to sort of lean on and soak a lot of knowledge off that have been a lot older and are more experienced than me. The previous team I was at, I was really lucky I've always sort of been in operational roles wherever I've been, which has been really handy. I guess my specialty is probably more operational and people. I'm a massive people person, and I think you can't have procedures or teams, or you can't do any of it without the people, right?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's really, that's where it starts from the ground up.
Yeah.
And then for the previous team I was at, I was really lucky to sort of, when I got there, then COVID happened, we weren't really doing too much. So I spent a bit of time downstairs on the shop floor cleaning in the sub-assembly room, which is where the components come out of cars, and you clean and service that. So I did that myself to sort of understand. I didn't know a supercar. I'd come from GT racing, was my background. I didn't know a supercar. And at the start, I didn't have the love I have for it now either. Yeah. So I needed to understand a bit more about it so that I knew what I was talking about, essentially. Yeah. And so I spent a lot of time down there picking the brains of the sub-assembly team, and just sitting with them and watching the mechanics. I'd go out sometimes and help the mechanics on the floor. And then I just sort of ended up falling into sort of, assistant team manager roles. So I went there just I wanted to understand, my reason for going to a team, sorry, if I take you a step back, was I wanted to go back to category management, which was what I'd been doing previously, which is sort of overseeing all the teams. Yeah. And I wanted to be a better category manager. And the way to do that was I felt I needed to understand from a team point of view what teams were getting frustrated with and how I could make things better. And I went to my previous team, and I actually, at the start, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I just went into sort of a logistics sort of coordinator role. And I was like, 3 months in, it was blind work for me, sort of. I wasn't really challenging myself. And then I sat down with our team principal at the time, and I just got put into some more, got more work and did some more things. And then I started spending time on the shop floor, and I think I instigated probably a lot of it myself because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to sit in on engineering briefs and understand. I never really wanted to be a team manager. It wasn't sort of, that's the goal I want to do. Yeah. And I just started falling into things. And then I was in the management team and, doing a lot of the big decision makings within that team with the other key members, and moved into running the Super 2 program, then moved into assistant team manager. And, I guess I had good people around me also that seen that I wanted it. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. So I think if you're the hardest worker in the room, it's hard to not notice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I would be there early, leave late, and I just wanted it. Yeah. I wanted to learn. It wasn't I wanted the job or any of that. It was I wanted to be better.
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing, though, is to show that you want it.
Yeah.
And talk about it as well, because if you don't show that you want it and you're not learning, then they don't really know that you want to progress in your career, and you just stay as what you are, really. But, it's so funny how there's so many different things that you can do, and especially in your industry, it's like you were going and looking at the parts and doing the cleaning and all this. It's like we say this all the time. It's like you got to work your way up to be where you want to be. So, it's a good lesson for younger people because, sometimes they don't understand that.
I still clean the parts and fix the cars if they need fixed. I mean, we had a bad event at Grand Prix this year. One of our cars, it tore the whole rear out of it and the front, so the car was not very good condition. And I just remember going home that night because we had worked so hard to get it out for the next race, and we missed the race by 2 minutes. It was heartbreaking for the team, and we worked so hard to get it perfect ready, but everyone did a great job. They did what they could. And I remember going home and I had oil in my hair from putting the gearbox in with the boys.
gosh.
And I was just like, I can't even get the smell out for 3 days. But it's those little things that people don't see, you know. I mean, to most people, I probably look, you know, when they see me on TV or wherever, you know, walking around, I probably look, you know, like I don't really do too much. But behind the scenes, with my headset on my hair's pulled back and I look like I've, you know, just done it. But then there's a lot of other times where, I'm under a car trying to help fix it or do whatever I can. So I do get on the tools as often as I can as well to help the crew.
And in those instances where you do have a devastating loss, where you've, you know, only lost by a tiny little bit, how do you find that you still keep your team motivated after that and bring them back? Because it is so upsetting. Like, even in a completely different industry, like if we lose a customer for something so stupid, I get so upset about it and it kills me. It's like, how do you keep your team motivated to just keep going on the next one?
I think for us, and it's probably the same for you guys, just at different paces, you have to really reset yourself straight away, because for us, you know, the next day is 12 hours away, 9 hours away. You have to really reset yourself. Our team's really good at doing that, and every night we team debrief, so in the transporter before we leave. And if we've had a tough day, we always get around each other. It's one thing I'll always make sure after every race, good or bad, we always hug, we always shake hands, whatever it is, to make sure that, you know, and same with the drivers, make sure that they do that with the crew as well, because everyone's worked so hard. And then we reset that night. We have a chat, we have a debrief, you know, there might be some inspiration in there. Together we conquer, that's our main thing. And we reset and we go again the next day. And you know, not everyone is always at 100%, because some people everyone has off days.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
It's also just noticing when one of your team members is having one of those off days, and then you can, you know, spend a bit more time with them or understand what's going on and try and help them, you know, motivate them to, all right, we've got to put that aside and focus on what we're doing and our job that we've got to do today, which is, you know, the drivers go out there and they're putting their life on the line for you know, milliseconds. So we need to do the best job we can at preparing the car and making sure that it's quick out there.
Yeah. I think it's important to have that debrief at the end of the day as well, because if you don't, then I feel like you'd go home and just keep thinking of what could I have done? What could I have done here to change that? And it would just muddle in your mind and kind of build up and blow up.
Because then you've got to get ready for the next race. So your mind's got to then be on the next one.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, our crew with pit stops. So the car comes into the box mid-race and then they do a pit stop and maybe one of the guys is slow on the wheel and they're kicking themselves, right? Yeah. And then the next car's about to come in. It's like, okay, I need you to reset. We've got to reset. We've got one more car to come in still. You know, so you just have to really, I can't really pinpoint, I guess, one specific thing, because everyone is different how we handle them or how I would handle them. But it's just, I watch everything, I guess. So I know as soon as something goes wrong or whatever, I just go straight to that person to make sure, you know, we can reset them to continue to do what we need to do. Yeah.
Now, is your pit crew, are they full-time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we have full-time. There's only 18 of us. We're probably the smallest team in pit lane. But we're very close, I would say. It's taken us a little bit to get the crew that we have now. We have an incredible group of people to take us forward. Yeah.
How big would be the biggest team?
Oh, I would say 70.
Okay.
Yep.
70?
Not all of them would travel though.
Yeah,
so that would be like workshop based as well as,
Wow.
Yeah, we're just a little
That's
team.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So it is like a family, because then that's like a small, tight-knit group.
And you spend a lot of time, like, you know, a lot of our staff are males and they spend a lot of time away from their kids and their wives, and even the females spend a lot of, you know, there's a female race engineer, Romy, she's great as well. She spends a lot of time away from her kids as well and her husband, but you spend so much time with this group of people, you have to, not everyone likes each other. You just got to respect each other, right?
Yeah.
And just if you need a bit of time when you're away, you just take the time that you need to. But yeah, we spend a lot of time with each other, so you got to find it.
Do a lot of families travel with
No,
the crew?
not usually.
Okay.
Some of the bigger events, I think some of them come. I think it's cool that you can bring your kids or your wife or your husband to the events, because they get to see what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
What we do is incredibly awesome. Like
Yeah.
we're so privileged to do what we do, and I think sometimes we forget that. Don't get me wrong, it's very hard work. But it's also really cool to have families there so that, you know, when they're at home and the partners or the husbands and wives are away, they understand, or the kids understand, oh, that's daddy's race car, or, you know, that's, So I think that's really important to try and we're a big family team, so I try and include as much of them as I can.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I think that's super important because then they can see the hard work that they're doing as well.
Yeah.
And then that sets a good example for
Yeah.
the kids and everyone.
Yeah.
So when they're growing up, they go, I want to be
Yeah.
like daddy, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
you always want that as well.
Yeah.
But I think with what you're doing, especially being the first female team manager, you're being a big role model to young girls that are growing up. And I know you said that, you know, to you that didn't really mean anything like, oh, yeah, I'm the first female. But how do you feel knowing that you're such a big role model to young girls growing up, maybe wanting to do what you're doing as well?
Yeah, I think it probably didn't hit me maybe until midway through last year, because there's a lot of girls around there, and I just think of myself as any normal human being. You know, I hope I inspire people, but I don't really think of it as I do, I guess.
Yeah.
But I had one of the girls from another team, and she said, I want to be a team manager. And I was like, okay, that was a moment where I was like, all right. And she's in a team right now, and she was a mechanic. And she's like, and I was like, okay, this is what you're going to do. And that was when it was like, for me, I was a little bit proud because she's gorgeous and she's great. And I said, okay, you need to do this, this, and this. This is what we're going to do, and I'll help you do it.
Yeah.
And I'm so approachable to anyone that wants to learn and help, and I'll give you the skills and, you know, the tools you need to sort of do this. But yeah, it was really cool, I guess, when it got announced.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, okay, I'm creating history here. This is something cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I have gone through the struggles within a male-dominated industry. I have done that. I don't speak about it often, but I've gone through a lot of the stuff in the male-dominated industry. I think I'm at the point now where I have really good people around me that it doesn't feel like I'm the only female.
Yeah.
And I'm so it's, you know, I go to the drivers briefings and I'm the only female in it because all the team managers are males and the drivers are males. So I'm at the I'm there to do a job, and it doesn't really I don't feel like I'm being treated any differently now. I think I've shown that I can do the job, and I think anyone who's got the skills regardless of gender should be able to, you know, do the job.
For sure.
Do you remember times when you had much pushback for being a female? Yeah.
I had a lot of pushback, like in my first few years in motorsport, and before I came to the team I'm at. Probably not something I really talk about often because it was really challenging, but I remember like some nights just going home and I'd be in tears just like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But then it also gives me a fire because I'm like, nah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you try and stop me.
Prove them wrong.
And people would be, and like, you know, there was a couple of people in particular and would be like, well, why are you still doing it?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, because I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
But I also love it, you know, and I think if you don't have the support around you, and I've had great mentors as well, then it's really hard. But I have gone through, just everything. I used to get, you know, I would go to work and I would organise, you know, our event or our test day with fuel and tyres and whatever else, and then I'd rock up and things weren't there. And it was like, oh, okay. So I've gone through a lot of...
They just didn't show up.
Yep.
God.
Not going to go too into it, but it was, I have gone through a lot of the struggles, I guess. And when I first came into it, I went to Gold Coast for an event and I was on the plane in team uniform and I had these guys sit next to me and they're like, oh, you're a grid girl?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, this is great.
No,
I was
I'm
like,
actually a team
I am.
manager.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay. So, it's, and I think a lot of people have thought maybe I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And this has really been like, you know, I can do it and I know I can. And now I'm obviously proving I can.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people thought that as well. But not necessarily just that. I think when you work with people that feel threatened by you, rather than like taking it on board and being like, she can really help me.
For sure.
Like, I'm not a threat to anyone.
Yeah.
I'll help whoever needs the help and make them look good. But when they take it in a way that they feel like you're a threat, then that's really not positive, and I've gone through that also. So.
Yeah. But as well, like there could have been many other women before you that, you know, wanted to get to there, but it just didn't work out for them because, like you said, they got upset about it and they couldn't handle it. But being the first, it's kind of broken that barrier now for other women to see, like, oh, well, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it, you know. And now you're a mentor to other girls. Did you have like a specific mentor going on your journey who you were like, this is my mentor, my go-to?
Yeah, my parents were always really supportive of whatever I wanted to do. So, which I was so lucky with that. And then Tony Quinn, who took me from Highlands to, I guess, where I am today and got me into it, has been great for me. He's, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here if he hadn't given me the opportunities and seen, I guess, a potential in me that I probably didn't see in myself at that point. And I always say this every time, you know, I get asked. He's great and he's done an incredible job of what he's done, but you know, our last round was at QR and I seen him. He also owns that racetrack up there, great racetrack. But he came down and seen me every day, him and his partner. So I'm still very close with them, and we had a really tough round in Taupo this year, and I really struggled. I think it was just the start of the year was tough for us, and the team weren't aligned, if I'm honest, and we needed to get on top of that really quickly. And we did at Taupo, but then the results weren't showing and one of our departments wasn't working well together. And so we qualified on the back row, both cars. And I walked out of the garage because I just needed a minute. And he came down straight away. I don't know, he just must know. And he just said, don't give up.
Yeah.
You guys can do this. I know you can. He said, I know the little voice in your head saying just, you know, give up, just go and do something else. But that was a really tough moment for me. It was my home race and we had qualified on the back row with both cars and we were like a second off the pace. It was not good enough. Yeah. But I had to walk back in that garage and I had to pull everyone up. Yeah. So I needed to get myself together real quick.
Yeah.
But that's why I never liked the crew to see me like that. And he was great, you know. And then he said, come up and spend a couple of days with me in Gold Coast and Kate in Gold Coast. And, you know, and I didn't end up doing it. But he's been so critical in my career because he's very successful in his own right and his own businesses that he's done. And you know, to him, I was just a hard worker. Didn't matter whether I was a female or a male. Yeah. And then at my previous team, the team owner actually and the team principal were great. You know, I was in all the leadership meetings. I was the only female in them, but I was in all of the leadership meetings and they sort of helped me create me to be in this role. And, you know, their plan was for me to you know, progress where I was there with them. And there's no bad blood there. They're really good, obviously. Tammy Edwards is now the motorsport manager or the general manager of motorsport at Supercars. Yeah, but yeah, and Rod, he's the team owner at Tickford, and I've spent a lot of time. You know, we always say hello and chat. So you know, when we got our first podium this year at Perth, which is an amazing moment for the team, but he messaged me, and the amount of messages I got from that was just it was just amazing. So I think you forget how many people are cheering for you in your corner sometimes. Yeah. And when I walked down pit lane at the end I was the last one of our team because everyone ran down the pit lane, but I was the last one to make sure the other car got in. And then just everyone from every team came out and like hugged or shook our hands or my hand. And it was just, that was a real surreal moment. Everyone was happy for us in the lane. So it was really cool. But yes, I've had, two very key important people. Yeah.
And all it takes is that one person, like believe in yourself. Don't give up.
That's what I mean.
That's all you need is that little pep talk to be like, you know what, I can do this and that's what I want to do. Yeah. And you keep pushing forward, which is amazing.
Because sometimes the voice inside our head can be so strong. Yeah. Give up, give up, give up. But then one person on the outside comes and that just totally flips your whole brain around.
But like you said, you've got to then get your head right because then you need to go support your team.
Exactly, yeah.
Like you're the face in front of them going, we can do it, but in your head you're like, oh, I don't know if we can.
I don't know if we can, but we're going to try. I think the only thing for me, which I hope that people will see me as that person, is I never had I've never had growing up until probably more recently. Josie from Highlands, she's the CEO over there, trailblazer in her own right. She has been really good to me when she comes over as well, and when I go over there, she's always been really positive. But I didn't necessarily have, when I was going through those harder times, a female that had been through it.
Yeah.
So as much as it's great, and I'm so grateful for the mentors I have and the people surrounding me that support me, it's different for a male.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't understand what you're going through when you're
Yeah.
going through those things like that the barrier of being a female, and then the males sort of not really respecting you or taking you seriously. And they're like, oh, they just brush it off or whatever. But that would be, I hope that people see me or can come to me and be like, okay, she's been through this, she knows it. And we have, apprentice female mechanic at the moment. We have a female engineer, a female apprentice engineer. And I always say to them, if you ever need anything or if you feel unsafe or whatever it is, please come see me, because I have been through it. So, if you need any help or whatever, like, my door's always open. Yeah.
What advice would you give to young girls these days who are going into industries where they do feel like the only one there that's a female?
I think just be the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
I think that you can sometimes get too caught up on being the female. So if you're the hardest worker in the room, it's really hard to not notice you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I noticed the hard workers at our team as well.
Yeah.
It is really hard, obviously, and you got to be prepared, for the grit and to grind. But I think if you're prepared to, be the hardest worker and go through that, then you'll come out so much better off. And like, I've grown so much as a person as well.
Yeah.
And you would grow so much as a person, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you learn a lot more in a male-dominated industry, and you become a lot tougher.
Yeah,
a lot more resilient.
A lot more resilient, yeah.
Especially in an industry where it's the highs are highs and the lows.
Oh, yeah.
Lows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have very strong resilience.
Oh, yeah,
I
you have
think.
to, I think.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like,
Yeah.
it's, and like I say, it's all about the people that you've got within your industry that you're doing it with. So I'm not doing it alone.
Yeah.
And none of our team are doing it alone. We're doing it together. So yeah.
That's good. As you said before, you had your first podium this year.
Yes.
Which would have been a very exciting moment. Now, coming into 2026, what is your plans? What is your
dreams goals
to get to?
Targets
for yourself, but for the team as well.
Yeah,
what is the plan?
I'm a pretty realistic person when it comes to things like this. I think next year we should be top 10s, few podiums.
Yeah.
And then we kind of have a 3-year plan at the moment. I've kind of created a 3-year plan, or we've created one at the team, where we want to be fighting for race wins and championships.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And I'm hungry for that, so we'll be pushing hard to get to that point. But next year we want to roll out the gate with, a lot of, the same crew, a lot of operational things, that we've done this year that have really worked, and procedures roll out with all that smooth, and then, be fighting for, some podium positions this season, next season, sorry. And also, top 10s. We've got a rookie driver in Aaron Cameron this year.
Yeah.
He's been showing really good pace the last few rounds, and, I have full faith in him that for the rest of the season he'll continue to, be knocking on the door of the top 10s. So I think next year he can be consistently in that, but just making sure, from that side that on track our performance can be, as strong as it possibly can be. Obviously, our pit crew are very good, so that was one of our goals last year. We picked 3 things that we wanted to focus on that we could control.
Yeah.
And one of those was being the fastest pit stop crew on the lane. So the boys usually do, like, for a 2-tyre stop, a 2.6 to 2.9 second stop of changing tires on and off. They are great. We train them pretty hard.
Yeah.
So next year I'd like to continue on that. And for myself, I think just to continue to learn and be a sponge around the people that are more experienced than me, but to also be a good role model and lead our team in the right direction.
Yeah. Now, being in a smaller team, what's it like having to compete with the bigger teams? Do you find that as a push, or do you find it frustrating?
I think we're like the underdog.
Okay.
I like to think
Yeah.
of us as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been at the bigger team.
Yeah.
And I know how it works and I know how they operate. I know the ins and outs of it. And I think the positive thing we have as a smaller team, as we may not have all the resource that they necessarily have, I think we're a lot tighter. So we have each other's backs a lot, a lot more. And there's nothing that we won't say to each other. So if there's an issue, we'll deal with it then and there.
Yeah.
There's no, we don't hide anything. It's an open book. We're an open book with each other. I think you've really got to know that you can lean on each other within the industry, especially when, you're in high pressure situations like that. And if things go wrong, we sit down, we address them, we understand why, and we learn from them and we move forward. So, I don't see it as a negative. I see it as a positive.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
When I'm thinking about all the roles there, it's like they're all such high pressure jobs, the pit stop, the drivers. Who do you think gets more nervous on race day?
I think the drivers, I don't think they'll say that.
Yeah.
Maybe not JC anymore. He's done it for a while. I think he still gets nervous as well. I think we're all very good at managing the emotions on an event. On a race day when you're in that mode.
Yeah.
I definitely get a little bit nervous, like the podium, for example. When I don't usually get too nervous. I sometimes get a little few butterflies, which I think is good because I think you have to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you to sort of, have that fire and stuff.
But
But
if you don't get nervous, it
what are
means
you
it doesn't
doing it
matter.
for?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
So
adrenaline rush of it all.
yeah, I think you have to have a little bit of that. But when JC got that podium in those last 5 laps, I think that TV was on me and I was just like, holding my hands like, okay. I was just like to Chris, just tell him good job again. But that was probably the most nervous. I mean, I've won races. I've been at teams that have won races and stuff like that before, and that's great. But when you've pretty much built the team, and you're at this point now, because we went from 1 car to 2 cars last year, the start of it. We had 3 staff or 4 full-time staff.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 of them left right now. But we went through a complete rebuild last year, to get the right people in the right places and, to get to this point. And I think when you see the progress, it's like all those tough days where you were like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision here with what we're doing and the direction? You're like, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there anything that you do, like race weekend or race day, that's like your superstitious? Some people like have only black coffee, or they'll go bounce a ball twice before they go for their free throw or something. Like, is there anything that you do?
Do you go do a hot lap first?
Yeah, I do
Is
that.
there
I do a hot
anything
lap
that
first?
just to
No.
get you in the zone?
No, I usually don't eat on a race weekend much.
Yeah, okay.
It's I can't, maybe that's the nerves, I just can't really eat. So,
Yeah.
I have a really bad race weekend diet. It is black coffee and lollies. So that's what I will eat. And then Mitch, our commercial manager, is great because he knows straight away, like when we go into a race, I'll have a little cup of lollies
Yeah, that's the
right
best.
on the top of my, on the data stand where I stand.
Ready to go.
And when there's moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll just have a little lolly there to calm the nerves a bit. But yeah, that's probably my little.
Yeah, that's your thing.
That's my thing.
The black coffee and lollies.
Yeah,
So
that's
everyone,
very
if you join the
bad
team,
diet.
black coffee and lollies all weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is there anything that happens behind the scenes that, as viewers, that we don't see on TV that you think that people don't know actually happens behind the scenes on race day during the race?
I think there's so much.
Yeah,
I
can
don't
just
even
imagine.
know where to start.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there anything funny moments that have happened?
Any disasters?
oh, there's been some disasters. I just can't really pinpoint one, to be honest with you.
Because as viewers, we always think we know everything
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, we could do that. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah. I don't really know. I'd have to have a think on that. Let me ponder
Yeah.
that for a minute.
Think on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, in my head, I'm picturing, like, fires everywhere. and
Well,
wheels
actually,
flying.
when you
and-
say the fires, so we have Kerry and Tony, our great caterers. Well, they were before we went to Supercars Catering this year, and they're our team owners, mum and stepdad. So Tony's notorious for setting things on fire.
Oh, gosh.
So he's had 2 incidences in the last couple of years. So the barbecue was on fire, and the neighbours from the other team came over one night. He was cooking the chicken, And all you see, we just looked out the back and there's all this, the whole thing next to the truck as well is all on fire. And everyone's just so used to him setting fires by accident. He always sets a fire to something. And then he was at Gold Coast one year and you have to, when you're refueling, you have to hold the fire extinguisher just in case there's a fire.
Yeah.
Well, he actually set it off.
Oh, gosh.
And it goes everywhere, right? It goes everywhere, that stuff. So, he's bit of the class clown, old Tony.
Yeah.
That's his award every year. The notorious
So
fire.
no fires in the car, but fires in the barbecue.
Yeah, we've had fires in the car before too.
Yeah.
But no, Tony's pretty good at setting fires everywhere else. Yeah.
That's funny.
If you could look back now at yourself when you started uni, what would you say to yourself back then?
Be resilient.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be worth it. Don't give up.
Yeah, I love that.
That's good.
I feel like we need to all tell our younger self that, because when you're younger, you're just you just don't think you're ever going to get there, and you don't think you're ever going to be what you want to be. But when you grow up, you're like, I wasted all that time, dissing myself and not believing in myself, and look at me now.
Yeah. But I just love hearing, and as I've said, every podcast we've been doing, the different journeys of getting to where you are now. And, if you think back to when you were little and, you never thought you'd actually get to where is where you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's such an inspirational journey, I think. And I think it's been exciting to be able to talk to the first female team manager.
Yeah.
Of the 8 Supercars. So.
And I think it's been good to show that we are breaking barriers, and look at you, like younger girls now can go, yep, I want to be in supercars and I want to be in GT racing and I want to be in Formula One or whatever it is. And there's no, well, no, you can't do that. It's just you can and you will. You just need to work for it. And I
think the biggest thing out of it is the hard work.
Yeah.
And that you saying that you've been in every aspect, which is,
Yeah.
I think we talk about all the time, is so important.
Yeah.
Business owners need to be in all aspects of the business. They need to understand. So, yeah.
And I'm no different, right, to anyone else.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about me. It's just, I don't have, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a mechanic or anything like that. I don't have those qualifications or anything.
Yeah.
So I was just the hard worker in the room that wanted to learn everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I think anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Kate, for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It's been great.
Yes. Have you learned a lot?
And I'll be at the next race.
She's going to be there.
Next race.
I'll be there with these headphones on, being like, I'm in the
You'll
zone.
be able to understand everything I'm saying for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye.